So one of the issues that I run into often when building dashboards is the fact that not all of the built-in Excel functions work inside of Xcelsius. And the most popular one probably that we've all have tried to use at least in Excel is trim. So I'm going to just show you an example here. I'll say trim, and I'll do space space test space space. And what trim does is it just trims off the white space from the beginning and the end of your string. So notice the white space at the end and the beginning of my string there. I'll hit enter, and you notice that it's now brought my test down to just test with the 4 characters, not with the white space. So what I'll do is I'll go to to the text area of my components and grab the label, and I will put that on the canvas and say link to cell, and then link that to A1, which has my test in it with the trim function. And notice that test does show up here in the canvas. So I'll go ahead and hit preview, and you'll see that this doesn't work. It'll throw here an error, so unsupported Excel function trim. So if I hit OK, what's going to happen is it's going to ignore the text that's in that function and just display nothing. So I'm going to unpreview this. So there are some other functions in Excel that are also unsupported. Another popular one is proper, and what this does is it capitalizes the first letter of the word. So again, so one thing that's interesting is if I don't map that cell to the canvas and I preview this, I'll get an error for the trim, but I won't get one for the proper. So if I go ahead and let me just unlink this cell here just to show you that I don't get any errors if I don't have something linked. And I'll preview this. And now I get no errors. Now the reason why the test is showing up there now is because it's in there. So if I link this cell to proper hello and run this, I will run into the same issue where it tells me the unsupported Excel function proper. So how do you get around this? Well, if you need to use these functions, what you can do is you can actually write your own custom Excel functions using the Xcelsius SDK. So I've done that, and I'm not going to get into all the code in this video, but I will attach it to the post. So here's my flex code, and I'll show you all this code. And here's all the code. So however, I did take a couple functions from the example that SAP has provided. For example, these get strings util. I didn't really feel like writing all that code over again, and it was the same as what I was going to use for this, so I just kept it. However, I did write 2 functions. One is this hello world function, and one is this trim function. You could have done the same with the proper, however I just didn't include this. This is also very similar to the code that SAP provided because it's basically doing the same thing I'm trying to do. So what I will go ahead and do is I built this code. So I built this and exported a file, and using the Xcelsius component add-on packager, I've gone in and I've configured it to be mapped to my Swift file that my project created, and I've given it a name. And then all you do is you hit add function, and it creates the package for you. And then inside of Xcelsius, what you can do is you can say file, manage add-ons, hit install add-on, and then on my desktop I can pick this Xcelsius info Excel functions, hit open, and now it's going to be inside of my Xcelsius. I hit close, it'll ask me to restart, so I'll hit save, and no, I don't want to save my changes. So I'll start up Xcelsius here again with a new sheet, and you'll notice that if I go up to my manage add-ons, my add-on is still there, and I'll go to cell A1 and I'll say equals trim hello space. So I have space before and after, hit OK. Now what that really did do is it actually used the Excel trim. However, it will convert it to the function that I've added at runtime. So if I go to text, label, and map this to cell A1 and preview this, look, no error, and it has trimmed this. And just as proof of the fact that it actually converts it sort of at build time of the Swift, I'm going to go back to my code, and you notice that I built this hello world function, and it just returns hello world. So I'll go back to Xcelsius, and what I'll do is underneath this hello, I'll call my hello world function and hit enter, and notice it's going to give me this error, this name question mark, because it doesn't know what that function is. So this is just to prove to you that it uses the Xcelsius functions when it's building the Swift. So what I'll do is I'll map this to cell A2, which has the error in it right now, but when I preview this, it will use my function and it'll display hello world. See, there you go, there's my hello world. So that's just evidence that it converts it, it uses the new functionality that you have in your add-ons when it builds the Swift, not actually in the Excel sheet down below. These Excel sheets use Excel functions, not the add-on packager functions that you've built on your own. So that's it for this example. That's how you use them. I'll attach the code to the blog post, and I hope it all works out for you.